Would you want to live forever? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a quick non-spoiler review on Netflix's The Old Guard, starring Charlize Theron and Kiki Layne and so many other talented actors. Now before I get started, make sure you guys follow my page on Instagram, Movie Vibes with Desiree, and also I'm giving a shout out to the J Marvelous. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow him. He'll be doing all things Marvel, all things DC, all things comic books pretty much, and he has an upcoming YouTube channel. Make sure you guys follow him on Instagram and tell him that I sent you. The Old Guard is based on a group of mercenaries who get discovered for their immortality. Along the way, they help a U.S. Marine who discovers her own immortality as they are faced with the challenge of protecting their ability to come back to life. Now, The Old Guard is based on a comic book that they clearly follow to a T, with the exception of a few scenes that they didn't include in this particular film, and rightfully so. I felt like what they did for the most part actually worked for the movie. A lot of the action scenes, the hand-to-hand combat was amazing. Although there were a lot of quick cuts at some point in some instances, and there was a lot of faraway shots to where it didn't really express too much of the magic of what was happening, because I felt like the actors worked so hard. It was just the camera work was just a little bit off-putting to me. Had we not cut so soon, had we have been a lot more, closer to the action, I think that would have given us the magic that we needed from those scenes. But it wasn't as bad. However, I do think if you're going to include action sequences in a movie, it's very important that we do rely on the talent of the actor, the skills of the actor, in order to make these scenes look a lot more flawless, seamless, and natural. I love the use of weapons in this movie. Charlize Theron carries around this battle axe, and it's very ancient. She's the oldest of the group, so she's been around for centuries, and she carries around this axe, and she definitely knows how to wield it. They can use old weapons and newer weapons. It tells me that, as an immortal, they're able to adapt to the times, but also keep things from the past. A lot of what kind of allowed me to know that they've been around for so long was the fact that there was a lot of patience amongst them. The silences, the words that weren't spoken, they were able to adapt to the fact that time will continue to move, and that was a struggle for their newest recruit, as she's just now finding out that she's an immortal, and she's taken out of the situation of being amongst the U.S. Marines to now being amongst these people who have these abilities to come back to life, such as herself. I love the fact that they had some flashback scenes. One in the beginning in particular was a bit more descriptive than the others. It would have been nice to know a little bit more about their history, because I feel like there's still such a mystery. Even after watching a movie that was about 2 hours long, I still have so many questions, but maybe they'll be answered in the sequel. As far as the character, Charlize Theron never fails with her acting. She's been in Atomic Blonde. She was in Ariane Flux. All of her action movies that she's done have been really good. Actually, I would say that she's been really good in her action movies. Atomic Blonde, How she's able to raise the stakes so naturally within a scene is just amazing to me, and it's no different than what she's done in all of her other movies. And this is definitely, she definitely leads really well in The Old Guard. However, I will have to say that Kiki Layne definitely held her own in this film. She was brilliant. I love her backstory as far as her being a part of the U.S. Marines and discovering that she's immortal through an accident that happens, and then her sort of being thrown into the situation with other people who are exactly like her, and she's trying to learn what's going on and how to adapt to that. One thing I do wish that the writers, and I think it's a writing situation, they should have given her a little bit more as far as her lines. The lines that she was given it wasn't meaty. There wasn't enough meat to it, and I felt like she deserved a lot more. And they also needed to discover her why. We don't know why she happened to be the one who was chosen to be immortal, because this thing hasn't happened in, I think, like they said, 200 years or so. But why her, and why now? Hopefully they give her a little bit more. Maybe we discover the why a little bit more as we go into the sequel of this film. But I do have to give credit where credit is due, because although I didn't really like the lines that they've given her, she definitely was able to work it to build more depth into the character and more layers. So I felt like she probably had to work a little bit harder than the other actors, but it was seamless. Like, you couldn't tell. She's just so good. And so she was able to deal with what she was given in within the scenes that she had in the movie. One thing that was definitely off-putting for me, besides some of the action sequences, was the soundtrack for this movie. It didn't match the mood and the tone of what was going on. It was definitely off-putting. It took me out of what was going on a few times, because you know, you were listening to the music and the lyrics and you're like, what, who decided to, it just almost made me feel like it was like an early 2000s action movie. The soundtrack, it literally reminded me of Sucker Punch. So I hope that we're able to dive a little bit deeper into the history of immortality in the sequel. I hope that they provide more scenes of the past, where they come from, what's been going on, instead of just heavily relying on the dialogue and what they're telling us. I want to see it more. I want to see how Kiki fits into this group. I really do. I want to see how her character will fit in the sequel and how she adapts. So I would definitely give this movie an 8 out of 10. What do you guys think, for those of you who have seen The Old Guard? Are you looking forward to the sequel? What do you think about the actors and their characters, the way they delivered these characters? Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to follow the J Marvelous on Instagram. His YouTube channel will be coming up, and it's something you don't want to miss. He's already doing a podcast on Marvel and DC, so definitely check him out. I will catch you guys later in the next review.